What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've got the top 32 of the Vault Tour from Germany. The playoff has been done. These players are straight in at the top 32. Now it looks like, I know we got Rachel Trimble on the right with Upchimp of the Imp's Armory, a Dis Shadows Mars deck, and on the left we got Brian Wong with Wu of Farville Bastion. Now, Rachel did make it straight into the top 32, taking only one loss in day one. Brian has had to go through a top 32 playoff, but he's here now, ladies and gentlemen. He's here now. With Brian, we've got Dis Shadows Untamed. We got 3 Ember Imp, that's pretty harsh. 2 Full Moon, 2 Dust Pixie. Yeah, this deck looks pretty gosh darn good. Rachel, for her part's got Dis Mars Shadows. She's got no Ember Imp, but a couple of Dust Imp. She's got Key to Dis, and 2 Routine Job. We are off. Brian chucks down a Pemp Seed to start off. Rachel goes for Dis and gets herself down 3 creatures, a Dust Imp, a Shula, and one we don't see quite as much, a Guardian Demon. When you play Fight or Reap, heal up to 2 damage from a creature and deal that amount to another creature. So Save the Pack goes away. And we've got a Fertility Chant, ladies and gentlemen. Fertility Chant gives 4 amber to you, 2 amber to your opponent. And one of the things, Rachel sent me a message a little while ago going, I'm not feeling confident about my top 32 game. My opponent's deck is so ridiculously fast, and we're kind of already starting to see that. Lost in the Woods comes down, 2 friendly creatures, 2 enemy creatures, shuffled into opponent's decks, and true to form, Brian's deck has 6 amber. But you see, the thing we need to remember here, Brian's deck has taken 2 losses, Brian has taken 2 losses, his deck might have taken none, and Rachel's only taken 1 loss, none with this particular deck. So she's off with Mars now. Okay, we are definitely off and live, that is good. And she is rolling with her Mars. I love me some Mars. And, okay, she's actually got her Jammer Pack and her Biomatrix backup down. She's got herself a Mind Warper on the field and an Incubation Chamber. Allows you to archive a Mars creature from your hand regardless of whose turn it is. So Rachel ends her turn with 4 amber, but she is unable to actually stop her opponent forging a key. Brian's sitting there on 6 amber. No, I'm lying to you because of course she got the Jammer Pack down. Brian's keys actually cost 8 amber right now rather than 6. Brian will not be forging a key. That Jammer Pack comes in pretty gosh darn handy. It's really difficult to tell which of them is which. Honestly, I can tell you the Jammer Pack is on the Shula here because the text is on 2 lines rather than going on to a third. Biomatrix backup is on the Mind Warper. So, we do see a Gongoozle coming down here. Does 3 damage and then discards a random card from Rachel's hand. Turns out to be a pawn sacrifice. Succubus comes down. Ember Imp comes down. This is okay, and a second Gongoozle, which actually destroys the creature and gets rid of the Jammer Pack. And see, now Rachel can only play 2 cards from her hand because of the Ember Imp, as well as the Succubus there, meaning she's drawing 1 fewer card at the end of her turn. This is, yeah. Brian's deck is looking kind of beastly. Although, to be fair, Rachel's deck no slouch. Now, I can tell you that this is the deck that Rachel wanted to take into top 32. Fun fact, she has 2 of her 3 decks in this tournament being double Time Traveler decks, and yet she's not playing her double Time Traveler in day 2. I'm afraid I don't know Brian, so I don't know whether this is a deck he wanted in day 2. And that's the thing, generally speaking, if this was single deck Archon, we'd go 5-2 against 6-1, Rachel's at an advantage, she's only taken 1 loss. The thing is, neither player has lost with the deck they're playing with now, because in survival format, you lose with a deck, that deck is eliminated. So both these players are playing with an undefeated deck, so the losses don't necessarily mean anything. So Magda the Rat comes down, steals 2 amber. Seeker Needle gets played. And it looks like, no, Rachel is unable now to stop Brian forging a key. So Brian's going to take his first key here. Now Rachel, of course, was the winner of the Eindhoven Vault Tour, has made, I want to say she's made 2 in another. She just missed out day 2 at Bologna in Italy. But we have got a previous Vault Tour winner here. But certainly behind in this game as it stands. Now she is on check. So the question for Brian here, is he able to take her off of check? I mean, if his deck is that fast, let's go racing. Because one of the things to notice here is another Gongoozle comes down. Brian has only actually generated 6 amber this game. And 4 of them came from his fertility chant. Now, he is using his pit demon there to steal an amber. And reaping with succubus, so Rachel's not going to be forging a key at the end of this turn, unfortunately. And Brian, okay, so he's doing a little bit better now. And that's one of the things you've got to watch with these really fast decks. How are they generating the amber? Because if your opponent generates 6 amber really quickly, but 4 of them were just playing a fertility chant, you need to ask the question of, okay, but how reliable is their amber generation? Though by the same token, you could sit here now and say Rachel's got 5 amber, 2 of them were generated from her opponent's fertility chant. So she's using Mind Warper to take out the Ember Imp, and Biomatrix Backup will save the Mind Warper. She's choosing to archive a creature using the Incubation Chamber, and now, can she get herself any amber is the question. Because that's what she needs right now. She needs to put herself onto check. She needs to get herself onto check. That's important. She really doesn't want to end this turn with 5 amber. Not when she's already down by a key. So, amber unfortunately gets stolen here. Magda the Rat goes away to steal a couple of amber. And now Brian's got 7 amber, and this deck of Brian's is just absolutely rushing. Urchin comes down to steal another amber, and now all of a sudden Brian is up by a key with 7 amber, while Rachel's sitting there with a single amber, having not forged a key yet. She needs to get something going here. Now she does play a charrette to capture 3 amber. It's a short-term solution, but it is at least a small solution. It means there will be no forging on Brian's turn. And she gets herself down a Library of the Damned, which means that every disc turn will allow her to archive a card. So maybe with the Incubation Chamber and Library of the Damned, maybe she can build up some phenomenal Mars turn in the future. Maybe that's something she's going to be able to get. As it stands at the moment, Brian really does seem to be ahead in this game. Brian seems to be running away. His deck just looks fast. I mean, he's got one of those Untamed suites that just does this. But honestly, it's one of these decks, Brian's, that just looks good. His Dis looks really annoying. His Shadows looks really good at stealing. His Untamed looks really good at generating amber. He even plays a Ghostly Hand to gain himself 2 amber and steal the only amber Rachel has. Remember, Ghostly Hand only steals amber if your opponent has exactly 1 amber remaining. And now Rachel's sitting there and the Urchin comes down, doesn't even do much, unfortunately. So just reap it, just reaping to gain himself an amber. That's harsh. Now there is a customs office down, so Rachel cannot play an artifact without giving Brian an amber. To be fair, she's already got 3 artifacts down. And the good news is she can use her Seeker Needle to take out Brian's Urchin to at least gain an amber that way. For now, she's dropping down a Dust Imp. It's going to gain 2 amber when destroyed. Charrette is taking down Succubus. We do see a shoot. No, that's not a shooter. I'm being an idiot. That is a... Oh. That's good. That is Drumble. If your opponent has 7 amber or more, capture all of it. So that is really going to help. The problem is, as much as Rachel has captured 10 amber, and that is a lot of capturing. Sorry, 11 amber. 12 amber. Yeah, there's 9 on that Drumble. It's only a 2-power creature. It ain't going to last forever. So Rachel's saying that she's captured all of Brian's amber, and she's done a great job capturing amber. But she has no keys and no amber of her own. She's not generating any amber herself. She's doing a wonderful job of stopping Brian forging a key, but she's not getting closer to forging a key herself. And really, at this stage, Brian's best way of generating amber is actually just going to be to take out those disc creatures with all the captured amber on. Now, the good news is Brian's disc doesn't have any of these cards like Gateway to Disc, which just destroys everything. He's got no free fates or things of that nature. He's got, 2 Control the Weak, 2 Gongoozle, 3 Ember Imp, 2 Pit Demon, a Succubus. He's got some really annoying cards, but he doesn't have the board wiping that some disc suites do end up having. So what's he got? I mean, he's got time is one of the things he's got. He's up by a key and nobody has any amber right now. All the amber that's been generated is currently sitting on Rachel's disc creatures. So what's he got? Where's he going? Which house is he going to choose? Taking a little bit of time to think about this. He's probably thinking, how do I get that amber off those creatures? What have I got that's going to give me the quickest route to getting that amber back? Because Tourette's only got, I want to say 2 power or 2 health remaining. Keyforge is kind of weird like that. Oh no, 1. It's only a 4-power creature. So we're in this weird situation where, you've got 4 power means that you do 4 damage, but you have 4 health. But it's not really health. It's just when you've got damage equal to your power, you're destroyed. It's a strange one. Okay. So we do see Poison Wave coming down. Oh, that's going to take out the Gongoozle. Not Gongoozle. I'm lying to you. I've already forgotten the name of that silly creature. Drumble. There we go. Takes out the Drumble. Takes out the Charette. Does take out the Ember Imp as well. So, yay. But look at his stash of Ember, ladies and gentlemen. Oh! Oh, now that was exactly the card that Rachel needed. He got so much amber. Rachel plays too much to protect. Steals all but 6 of it. She stole like 7 or 8 amber through that one card. And now the bait and switch has been errated so it can only steal 2. Too much to protect is the best stealing card like that we've got. You steal all but 6 of your opponent's amber. So that's huge. So now Rachel's sitting there with 10 amber. Brian's sitting there with 6. And I've been telling you that what Rachel really needed was to steal amber. She needed her own stash of amber, and she's got that here. Rachel's managed to get her own amber. And now she plays Urchin to steal 1 more, and this is perfect. This is exactly the turn that Rachel needed to get into the game. She now destroys that Urchin with a Seeker Needle to gain herself another amber. She's actually got 2 keys worth of amber sitting out there. And as we have a quick look at Brian's deck list, Brian does not have too much to protect. He doesn't have Effervescent Principle. He doesn't have Doorstep to Heaven. That was exactly the turn Rachel needed to get into the game. Brian was running away with the game. Make no mistake about that. Brian was in what looked like an almost unassailable position. Now when Oubliette comes down, it's just destroyed actually. Oubliette, it purged the creature of 3 power or less. There's nothing out there. So we do see a Dust Pixie gaining 2 amber, but Brian isn't forging a key this turn. That's crucial. Brian doesn't get to forge a key. There's no key charge in his deck. Just double checking to make sure that's not a lie. So now Rachel forges her first key and she's already on check. She's not been able to keep a battle line on the field and Brian's been absolutely racing But that single too much to protect combined with the urchin has turned the game around so that she can forge next turn. Now so can Brian. Brian's got 8 amber. So Rachel needs something here to slow him down, because too much to protect was amazing, but that was 1 turn. She needs more. She can't just rely on 1 turn to win the game. So she does grab herself down a bunch of creatures here. She's got a Phylix the Disintegrator. Your opponent loses 1 amber for each other friendly Mars creature. Now that's an action, so she can't use it till next turn. And she's got herself down a Mind Warper that can capture amber. And a YXZ Dominator, which has Taunt, so will protect the creatures either side. So what she's doing, she's not doing much to stop Brian forging this turn. But next turn, she can use Phylix to lose Brian a bunch of amber. And she can use Mind Warper to make one of his creatures capture one of his own amber, hopefully making it the Dust Pixie and then destroying it. Now she chooses to discard the Mother Gun. It's an artifact and Customs Office is still out. So Brian's forging his second key, but we all knew that was going to happen. That was not a turn where Rachel was stopping Brian forging his second key. That was a turn where Rachel was setting herself up to stop Brian forging the third key. She didn't have the hand or the setup to stop key number 2, but she was hoping to give herself the setup to stop key number 3. Is it going to pay off? Oh, bait and switch comes down to steal a pair of amber, so that's bad. Now, Rachel only had 6 amber, so it wasn't like she was in some great position in that regard, but it did mean that Brian could now steal enough amber so that Rachel cannot forge a key. And Rachel really needed to forge that second key next turn just to keep up. So plays a Pawn Sacrifice, to get rid of the Phylix. That was going to lose him 3 amber. That was a huge part of the game plan. And because it was Pawn Sacrifice rather than attacking, it could take out the Phylix. And then we see Poison Wave coming down to take out the Mind Warper. And I'm looking at this board now, and it looks like Brian might have sealed the game for himself. He's got 2 keys, he's on check, and last turn Rachel set herself up. Oh, Keyhammer! That'll help! That'll help! So Keyhammer comes down. If your opponent forged a key on their previous turn, unforge it, give them 6 amber. What's really interesting about Keyhammer, if they paid more than 6 amber to forge, they still only get the 6 amber. Now Rachel plays her own Ember Imp. Take that, Brian. I say that because Brian has 3 Ember Imp in his deck. It's kind of a taste of his own medicine. He's going to be doing a lot of Ember Imping. She plays herself a Dust Imp, but let's be clear. Brian's still forging at the start of his turn. Now, Rachel's just archived a Mars creature and another card from her hand, using Incubation Chamber and Library of the Damned. But she's not stopped Brian forging. The best way to use Keyhammer is to play Keyhammer and then steal enough amber that your opponent doesn't just reforge the key. But what she's done is she slowed Brian down by a turn, although it doesn't look like she's gotten back on check here. So Brian now forges his second key, but Rachel bought herself a turn with that, and that was huge. Now Brian, it looks like he's going to forge a key and then immediately put himself onto check. Rachel just checking her Archon card there. You can check your Archon card as much as you like during the game. Essentially, you can't be slowing the game down or annoying people by checking it, but outside of that, you're free to essentially check your Archon card whenever you gosh darn well feel like it. You're allowed to check your opponent's Archon card at the beginning of the game for a couple of minutes. I don't think you're allowed to check your opponent's Archon card during the game, though I could be wrong. Okay, so Rachel ends her turn with 5 amber. She's not on check. Brian forges a key and he's already on check. So the Keyhammer was a good play there. The Keyhammer bought a turn, but it only bought a turn. Really, what Brian did last turn, getting rid of the Phylix, getting rid of the Mind Warper, that was huge. All he needs to do now is really just It'll just really cement the game, just sew up the game. Now, as it stands, he's got 6 amber, and he is up by a key. Oh, Control the Weak comes down. So that puts him up to 7 amber, and he gets to denote what Rachel's active house is next turn. He uses the Pit Demon to steal an amber, so he's now up to 8. Rachel's sitting there on 4, 1 key down. Control the Weak, and there are 2 in Brian's deck, has determined what Rachel's house will be next turn. A second Pit Demon comes down, and Rachel extends a hand going, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do. You've won the game. I cannot stop you forging your 3rd key and winning. Congratulations to Brian. Commiserations to Rachel. She has already won a Vault Tour, so she's proven her worth as a phenomenal Keyforge player. Brian's deck today, bit too good, if I'm honest with you. And if you look at Brian's deck, there is nothing that jumps off the page other than maybe the free Ember Imp. No double time traveller, no horseman, none of that malarkey. But if you look, his Disc Suite with 2 Control the Weak, 3 Ember Imp, 2 Gongoozle, 2 Pit Demon and a Succubus really strikes, and Tendrils of Pain, really strikes as an over-the-top disruptive deck. Shadows with the Bait and Switch, the 2 Ghostly Hand, the 2 Poison Wave, the Customs Office, the Dodger, the Urchin, Noddy the Thief. There's a lot of stealing, but there's a lot of general disruption there as well. And then in Untamed, 2 Full Moon, 2 Dust Pixie, Fertility Chant. That's a lot of amber generation. He's got a lot of stealing, he's got a lot of disruption, and he's got a lot of amber generation with Untamed, and unfortunately this game there was just too much for Rachel's deck to deal with. So there we go, top 32 is in the books. We're going to be moving on to top 16, as will Brian, and I'm going to be back with a top 16 game rather shortly, so don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. For the YouTube guys, comment, like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, look after yourselves till next time. Thanks for watching, bye!